everybody, Andrew Rogers here for TST Total Sports Talk on this TGIF Friday. Thank God, it's Friday, everybody. We made it through another work week. Hopefully you guys have all had a good week, as have I. We got a great show for you today, as always. This episode, as all of them are for the rest of May, is dedicated to Sick Kids Hospital Foundation. To donate, go to www.sickkids.ca. With every follow on Facebook, and subscription on YouTube, I will be donating $1 on your behalf for the rest of this month. Please take that into consideration, and I will put a donation forward at the end of the month on your behalf as part of the TSTs and support of Sick Kids Foundation. We're going to start off in the IHF. It was Canada over the co-host city, France, 3-2 yesterday. Ryan O'Reilly, Claude Giroux, and Marc-Edouard Vlasic providing the goals for Canada in this one. They remain undefeated in the tournament, 4-0, looking very, very strong in preliminary play. They've got 3 games remaining in preliminaries before it starts to shift over to the medal rounds, essentially. Canada next in action now Saturday at 2:15 p.m. against Switzerland. As far as the OHL playoffs go, we got a huge game tonight. It's a very big game in the OHL Championship Series. It's game number 5 in Erie between the Mississauga Steelheads and the Erie Otters. The Erie Otters lead the series 3-1. They've looked very dominant, essentially from the get-go of the season. They were so good in the regular season, and that's obviously transpired into the OHL playoffs, where they've looked very, very good. Erie, with a win on home ice, would clinch the Ontario Hockey League Championship and book their spot right alongside Windsor as representatives from the OHL in the Memorial Cup Championship Tournament. Game time is 7 p.m. in Erie tonight for game number 5. Over to the Major League Baseball story. It was a great night for the Toronto Blue Jays. They defeated the Seattle Mariners 7-2. Stringing back-to-back wins, very impressive. But tonight it was all about Justin Smoke. Boy, did he have himself a day. He went 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs, including a home run in this one. Not to be outdone, though, his partner right behind him in the 5th spot. Smokey was hitting 4th. Steve Pearce hitting 5th, cranked a 3-run shot of his own. And to pace the Blue Jays in this one, they provided most of the runs in this one for the Toronto Blue Jays as they win 7-2. They are back at it again tonight. It'll be Joe Biagini starting his 2nd Major League start for the Toronto Blue Jays. He'll go as opposed to Christian Bergman of the Seattle Mariners. Game time is at 7:07 on Sportsnet. First pitch there for Toronto Blue Jays action. Switching over now to the NBA playoffs, it was the San Antonio Spurs absolutely obliterating the Houston Rockets. I can't say that without enough emphasis because they beat them by 39 points. It's unbelievable. No Kawhi Leonard in this one due to a high ankle sprain. They hope to have him ready for game number 1 of the Western Conference Final against the Golden State Warriors. They're going to need him. But in this game, they had all hands on deck. They had 6 guys scoring double figures. LaMarcus Aldridge led the way with 34 points and 12 rebounds for the San Antonio Spurs. They also did a phenomenal job, San Antonio, defensively, shutting down James Harden for the Houston Rockets, who had one of his worst performances in recent memory. He only would score 10 points in 37 minutes for the Houston Rockets. You just can't put up those kind of numbers when it comes to an elimination game in your own building. It's just upsetting to see, for sure, to see them go out that way. They had such a phenomenal year, especially James Harden specifically. Like I say, Spurs go up in the West Final against the Golden State Warriors. What a phenomenal matchup this is going to be. I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest between these two high-profile teams. As far as tonight in the NBA goes, we have game number 6 in Washington between the Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics. Boston leads this series 3-2. They can move on to the Eastern Conference Final against the Cleveland Cavaliers with a win. Washington hoping to throw it back to a game number 7 in Boston. Game time is 8 p.m. over on Sportsnet 1 in this one. Finally, our final story comes out of the NHL. The start dates of the conference finals are set. It will be Ottawa to face the defending champs Pittsburgh Penguins. On Saturday, that series will get underway for game number one. Game number one between the Nashville Predators and the Anaheim Ducks goes from Anaheim on Sunday. So these will be phenomenal series, the conference finals. You have teams that you wouldn't expect normally to be there. I mean, you could make a case for both Nashville and Ottawa. It's amazing to see them there after the seasons that they've had, and clear underdogs in this one, in my opinion. Anaheim, obviously a good favorite out of the West in their series against Nashville, and Pittsburgh, you can't rule out the defending champs. The interesting matchup in that Ottawa and Pittsburgh series will be Phil Kessel versus Dion Phaneuf. I really like the photo that was shared on Twitter of when Phaneuf and Kessel were still with the Leafs in that Christmas Day ugly Christmas sweater photo. Just brings back a lot of memories. Not so many good ones, but I digress. The TST poll of the day is, of the 4 teams that remain in the NHL playoffs, which player at this point would you say, if their team wins the Stanley Cup, this player is going to get the Conn Smythe Trophy as the playoff MVP? Your choices are Pekka Rinne from Nashville, who's 8-2. Ryan Getzlaf, 15 points so far in the playoffs. Unbelievable for Anaheim. Erik Karlsson, who's been an absolute stud in the playoffs for the Ottawa Senators, leading them, with a couple of significant injuries to his feet. And Marc-Andre Fleury for the Pittsburgh Penguins, 8-3-1, when he essentially didn't even know if he would even get into the action in the NHL playoffs this year. All signs pointed to Matt Murray before he went down in the warm-ups of game number 1, and he's been nothing but spectacular for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So those are your 4 choices. Who wins the Conn Smythe Trophy should their team win the Stanley Cup this year? Pekka Rinne, Ryan Getzlaf, Erik Karlsson, or Marc-Andre Fleury. For TST, Total Sports Talk, Andrew Rogers reminding you as always on this good Friday, thank God it's Friday, TST, Total Sports Talk, to keep your head up, keep your stick on the ice.